What's up, everybody? This is Sunko, the Korean bro. Today is 2022, not January, July 4th. Hmm. How's everybody doing? Okay, let's go to Yahoo Finance. Okay. Hmm. What interesting articles do we have tonight? Hmm. Top NGO calls Switzerland safe haven for Russian oligarch. Dutch farmers block entrances to supermarket warehouses. Hmm. War shares mostly higher ahead of July 4th holiday in US. War shares or Asian shares mixed all steady ahead of July 4th holiday in US. Argentina has new economy minister after abrupt resignation. With no fuel and no cash, Sri Lanka keeps schools closed. Okay. West Africa leaders lift sanctions on two junta-led neighbors. Hmm. Schneitzer still witnessed a strong quarter on the back of strong domestic demand. The most upgrade stocks to buy before the second half starts. Hmm. Accolade moves higher, but growth is slowing. Hmm. And what articles do we have on Yahoo Finance? Home sellers are realizing that the market has turned. Why the magazine indicator still works for investors who are in for a little more pain. Here's how to recession proof your 401k. Bitcoin could soar over 40% by the end. Here are three stocks that stand to benefit. Is the stock market open today? Here are the 4 hours of the 4th of July. Why the magazine indicator still works for remote investors. Foreign investor drained $40 billion from emerging Asia last quarter, and it could get worse. These are the best Robinhood stocks to buy or watch now. The few mutual fund managers who avoided the debacle. Boeing and seven more industrial stocks for the second half of 2022. Cheap boom loses steam on slowing PC sales. Crypto rout. Bitcoin prices struggle below $20,000, while Tuesday could bring a bigger move. Bearish bets, three stocks you could consider shorting this week. Big insider buys of oil and solar stocks are placed on Russian sanctions. Glut of goods at Target, Walmart is a boon for liquidators. Though checking out, fund legend Rick Rule says the Fed won't keep hiking rates aggressively, even to prevent amazing damage. Here's a how quickly the tables have turned. Falling mortgage rates have home buyers so emboldened they're asking sellers for cash. A rare sell-off where both stocks and bonds slammed investors. Would a 60-40 portfolio survive? US futures sleep, European stocks rally. Well, with prices skirting a 17-month low, Dr. Copper's prognosis about the global economy is downbeat. Tesla's bumpy quarter might be about more than lockdowns in China. Who is still buying Russian oil and gas? Mark Zuckerberg issues a dire economy warning to Meta employees. Berkshire Hathaway owns 17.4% of Occidental Petroleum after new buys. Coal makes a comeback as the world thirsts for energy. Need to stretch your retirement savings. Falling commodity prices raise hopes that inflation has peaked. European gas extends blustering rally as supply woes deepen. Big insider buys of oil and solar stocks are placed on Russian sanctions. Believe it or not, gas prices have been edging down this 4th of July. Here's why. Home sellers are realizing it's no longer their housing market. Why China's stock market looks like it can keep going strong. Okay, first things first. Let's look at this one. Dutch farmers block entrances to supermarket warehouse. Dutch farmers angry at government plans to slash emissions use the tractors and trucks Monday to block roads and supermarket distribution centers, sparking fears of store food shortages. The latest sanctions drew a summer of discontent in the country's lucrative agricultural sector. Netherlands business aviation hubs airport urged travelers to use public transport to get to its terminals amid fears that the blockades and also would target airports. Fishermen acting out of solidarity with farmers also blocked a number of harbors. Hmm. With no fuel and no cash, Sri Lanka keeps school closed. Cash strapped Sri Lanka on Sunday extended school closure for 1 week because there isn't enough fuel for teachers and parents to get children to classrooms. And the energy minister appealed to the country's expatriates to send money home through banks to finance new oil purchases. A huge foreign debt has left the Indian Ocean island with none of the suppliers willing to sell fuel uncredited. The available stocks sufficient for only several days. Hmm. We provided for essential services, including health and port workers, public transport, and food distribution, officials said. Finding money is a challenge. It's a huge challenge. Power and Energy Minister Kansa Wasa told reporters. He said the government has ordered new fuel mm, stocks, and the first ship with 40,000 metric tons of diesel is expected to arrive on Friday, while the first ship carrying gasoline will come on July 22nd. Several other fuel shipments are in the pipeline, but he said authorities are struggling to find $587 million to pay for the fuel. Wajesleka said that Sri Lanka owed about $800 million to seven fuel suppliers. Last month, schools were closed nationwide for a day due to fuel shortages and had remained closed for the last 2 weeks. In the urban area, schools remained shut until Friday. Mm, mm. Okay, Sri Lanka is going through a hard time. They had their schools closed, and with no fuel and no oil, they have hard time living their life in Sri Lanka. The most awkward stocks to buy before the second half starts. What are the FedEx? Hmm. FedEx and what do we have? Devon Energy. Hmm. With oil prices are as high as they are, it's no wonder the energy sector continues to be upgraded. The most upgraded energy stock over the past month, however, is a little hard name with a very big yield. Devon Energy. Devon Energy is an independent oil exploration and production company with wells across the U.S. Uh, the stock pays about 8.8% in yield, and this is a growing distribution we're talking about. The company has increased the payout for the last 5 years and pays out only 55% of earnings, so there's room for additional increases, not counting the windfall profits we expect to see this year and next. Accolade moves higher, but growth is slowing. It's certainly an interesting play on the healthcare space, providing business and employee services geared toward helping credit clients navigate the cumbersome health benefits arena. The pandemic helped boost the company's business and has on track to continue growing, but there is a flaw in the ointment. Not only is the revenue growth slowing, but it is expected to slow further in the coming quarter and for the full year, and worse, profitability remains elusive. Uh, the company CEO is optimistic profitability will be reached by their 2025 target, but we think that's a long way off, and there are some serious economic hurdles in the outlook. Accolade bets and gives mixed guidance. Hmm. The analyst outlook for Accolade is imploding. Um, Okay. Oculus certainly had a good quarter at face value, but there are some issues hanging over the market that could weigh on share prices moving forward. The company reported $85.5 million in net revenue for a gain of 44% versus last year, which beat the consensus by 430 basis points, but the growth is slowing. Gains were made on the back of both new clients, increased penetration, but were not enough to offset the company expenses, which include an increase in tech spending, advertising, and stock-based compensation. Okay, it was looking good at first. At face value, it was really good, but as the time went, um, its profitability remained elusive, and now people are like, "Oh, is it worth investing?" Hmm. Profitability remains elusive. Home sellers are realizing it's no longer the housing market. Hmm. The housing market has rapidly changed. Sellers, once in the driver's seat at the start of the year, are much more accommodating to complete a home sale as borrowing costs skyrocket for buyers. A growing number of home sellers have been forced to readjust their home prices in recent weeks. A growing number of home sellers have been forced to readjust their home prices in recent weeks. According to Refin, an estimated 6.1% of homes for sale during the 4 weeks leading to June 19 asked for a price drop. record high as far back as the data goes through the start of 2015. The economy's mortgage rates hit 5.70% last week and are nearly 2.5 percentage points higher than the beginning of 2022, relegating some buyers to the sidelines with budget. Mm. If you overprice your home in a market, you're going to feel resistance. Reezy Helfo, owner and mortgage broker at Cross Country Mortgage LLC, said the last 3 years, sellers have been able to get basically whatever they want for their house. Hmm. We're just not in a market like that right now. Hmm. Buyer budgets don't stretch as far as they used to. Uh, Rising borrowing costs erode buyer confidence. So what I can see is that something has changed in housing market, uh, right? Hmm. Compared to what happened 3 years ago. Why the magazine indicator still works for modern investor? The stock market's worst opening 6 months of a year, 5 decades is in the books, and the financial printing presses have been cranking into overdrive to hammer home just how bad things have been for investors. And the stock printing and the financial printing presses have been cranking into overdrive to hammer home just how bad things have been for investors. A few weeks back, just after the S&P 500 sunk to another gut-wrenching early low, Barron's featured a giant downward sloping stock chart with the caption "How to Keep Up in a Down Market." The same week, Bloomberg Business Week treated its readers to a John Eyre sick back with the words "feeling unwell" for market upheaval, economic turbulence, and other discomforts. Hmm. These stories reflect the zeitgeist, though traders reading the tea leaves may look at them as potential contrarian indicators. Hmm. Okay. Bitcoin could soar up 40% by the year, and here three stocks that stand to benefit. Bitcoin might have cemented its status as the gold, but one other widely touted purpose has yet to properly played out. The daddy of crypto is supposed to be a huge hedge against inflation, but recent times have shown that soaring inflation has not provided a tailwind. In fact, Bitcoin's performance has followed the leader of the equity market and mirroring the wide downturn in 2022. Bitcoin's price has tumbled over 70% since peaking last November. That said, the death of Bitcoin has been announced countless times before, and one thing Bitcoin has been adept at doing over its decade plus history is bouncing back eventually. With Dutch banks Marian Libel does not anticipate last year's peak to be achieved over the near term, using S&P 500 stocks as reference and factoring in the effect of higher interest rates. The senior strategy believes that by the end of the year, Bitcoin's price could climb back up to 28,000, a 35% increase from current levels. And where the BTC price goes, so do the prices of stocks operating in its ecosystem. Hmm. Uh, with this in mind, we scoured the T-Rich database and honed in on the three names which are set to benefit from a potential rise in Bitcoin's value. They all operate in the BTC mining space. They're rated as strong by the analyst community, and they offer plenty of upside potential in the year ahead. Here's the lowdown. Okay. Why the magazine indicator still works for modern investors? That's something that I read. Boeing and seven more industrial stocks for the second half of 2022. Short article. Chi Boom loses stream on slowing PC sales. Crypto route. Semiconductor manufacturer Samsung, Intel, and Texas Instruments recently announced plans for a new chip factory in the U.S. WSA's Rob Copland visits Central Texas to learn why Samsung is moving to the region. What this type of reshoring could mean for the American economy. Okay. Mhm. So checking out, phone legend Rick Roll says the Fed won't keep hiking rates aggressively, even to prevent amazing damage. Here are three spots you like for your money. The Fed is raising interest rates aggressively in an attempt to tame rising inflation. But according to legendary investor Rick Rowe, former president and CEO of investment fund Sprout U.S. Holdings, things may not go as planned for America's central bank. I think they'll chicken out, he told Stansberry Research earlier this month. Chicken out. If we had a period of real estate rates, it would certainly cure inflation, but it wouldn't cure inflation until it did amazing damage to various balance sheets. This isn't the first time Wu has voiced concern about the economy's ability to handle substantially higher interest rates. In an interview with MoneyWise earlier this year, he said, "I do not believe that the broad equities market will handle multiple rate hikes. Wu doesn't suggest bailing on stocks completely. Here's a look at three things the super investor still sees opportunities in: precious metals, global dominators." Wait, hold on. Rule doesn't suggest bailing in stocks completely. Here's a look at three things the super investor still sees opportunities in: precious metals. Consumer prices are rising at their fastest pace in 40 years. While the Fed is tightening, the rule doesn't believe the rate of inflation will slow anytime soon. I think we'll continue to see prices going up for most of the remainder of the decade. He told MoneyWise, to preserve your purchasing power, real points to gold and silver, which can't be printed out of the thin air like fiat money. I think that an investor who does not have some of his or her wealth in precious metals or precious metal equities are making an extraordinary mistake. He cautions. So he's basically saying that if you got money, um, save it on precious metals. Mm, mm. And if you had $1 million and the choice that you would never that you would not save it on precious metals is a big mistake. Hmm. Global dominators. When building an inflation-proof portfolio, Rule also likes Warren Buffett's idea of investing in price makers, business that can easily increase the price of their products and services without jeopardizing demand. Buffett has been pointing out going all the way back to the 1970s, there are businesses there that are so superb that they have pricing power. Rule says all the way back to the. He uses Apple as an example. Early last year, Apple's management revealed that the company's active installed base of hardware has surpassed 1.65 billion devices, including over 1 billion iPhones. While competitors offer cheaper devices, many consumers don't want to live outside the Apple ecosystem. That means as the inflation spikes, Apple can pass higher costs to its global consumer base without worrying too much about a drop in sales volume. But Rule doesn't advocate buying Apple. Instead, he suggests a representative sample of what he calls global dominators. Through the exchange traded fund, ProShares, the fund has shown itself over the very long term to be a very efficacious strategy for more than maintaining purchasing power, for adding to your wealth. Mm, cash. At a time when high inflation is rapidly eroding purchasing power, it might not make sense to keep a bunch of cash on hand, but that's exactly what rule commands. Short savings accounts pay next to nothing these days. However, rule says that cash gives you the ability to take advantage of moments of liquidity. I learned a lesson some years ago in 2008 when I ran into that crisis while cashed up. The cash gave me both the courage and tools to take advantage of the circumstance rather than being taken advantage of. Mm. So three things are cash, global dominators, and precious metals. How quickly the tables have turned. Falling mortgage rates have home buyers so emboldened. They're asking sellers for cash. A rare sell-off for both stocks and bonds slammed investors. Will the 60-40 portfolio survive? Oh, it's a market watch. I cannot read it unless I subscribe it. Okay. Bumpy quarter might be about more than lockdowns in China. Next one. Russian oil gas. Mark Zuckerberg issues direct comment warning to Meta employees. Okay. Despite looming sanctions and import bans, Russia exported $97.7 billion worth of fossil fuels. Uh, in the first 100 days since its invasion of Ukraine, at an average of $977 million per day. Uh, so, which fossil fuels are being exported by Russia, and who is importing these fuels? The infographic below via visual capitalist Nicole the content Gavin Buta tracks the biggest importers of Russian fossil fuel exports during the first 100 days of the war based on data from the Center for Research on Energy and Culinary in demand Russia's black gold. The global energy market has seen several cyclical shocks over the last few years. The gradual decline in upstream oil and gas investment, followed by pandemic-induced production cuts, led to a drop in supply. While people consumed more energy as economies reopened and winters got colder, consequently, fossil fuel demand was rising even before Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which exacerbated the market shock. Russia is the third largest producer, the second largest exporter of crude oil. In the 100 days since the invasion, oil was by far Russia's most valuable fossil fuel export, accounting for $48 billion or roughly half of the total export revenue. While Russian crude oil is shipped on tankers, a network of pipelines transport Russian gas through. In fact, Russia accounts for 41%. Mm. Okay, I read too much articles. Let's see how things are going with my stock. Okay, first check. What is it doing? Check. Okay, not so bad. Oh, yes, it is bad. 1915. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, Chag. And what else do we have? Roblox, Unity, GitLab, GitLab, and Chag, Netflix, uh, Carvana. Wow, 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 Carvana. What insider move shape at Carvana stock? Hmm. Hmm. Okay, I'm getting tired tonight, so I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we do happy Monday night. Okay, I'll see you guys. Bye bye.